This guide will be split into 3 parts, level 1, level 2 and level 3. So let's get into it. Here is the tactical console. These buttons are for powering the shields and powering the weapons. If power is not provided from engineering, then these will not be able to actually light up. Here is the lock system. This is where you can lock onto targets without having to manually aim. This is the sights display. This will show where your weapons are currently pointing. For example, these yellow circles are the front of the ship, so if I fire the phaser now, it will fire directly in front of the ship. But if I move it to the side a little and wait for the phasers to recharge, then it will actually fire slightly to the right. So if I aim left and downwards as well, it will fire at that same spot. Same with the torpedoes. Manually aiming torpedoes is not good, as they often miss because of the way they're actually guided. Now I'm not too sure about how they're guided, but it just means that only really locks work. Always remember to remind your cap what the percentage of shields are on your ship. During an engagement, always ask that science scans the ship before an engagement, as it does help you and the helm officer know where they are and their actual shields. You can actually check their shields here in target shields. Right now I haven't targeted anything, so it's saying not applicable. But during an engagement, once the enemy ship has been scanned, it should pop up there. Your weapons actually fire from different places from the ship, depending on where your target is, or where you're actually aiming. So, for example, at the front, directly in front, where these yellow circles are, the phaser should fire from the front phaser turrets. As you can see, they both did that. But now if we aim 90 degrees to the right, which is marked by this green line, we can see that the phaser should fire from that phaser turret. Now if we go another 90 degrees, now facing the back on the aim screen, the phasers should fire out of the aft turret and the torpedoes the same. So, the torpedoes can only fire out the front and the back, but the phasers can fire from there, 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 and there, at least on the Excelsior class. It's different on every ship, but I'm not going to go into all of them. The best thing I'd advise is just playing around in every ship, seeing where the phasers fire from. Or if you have knowledge from the shows, it should be quite accurate. When using manual aim, always try and aim a little ahead of your target if they are moving, because then you're more likely to hit them. Now don't get worried if your shields get around 30%. As long as your engineer has put full power to the shields, they should recharge quite quickly. When shields are less than 20%, they actually get penetrated and can do damage to the engineering power grid. You need to remember to bear this in mind, because your engineer only gets 3 repair points every 8 seconds. The maximum range of phasers and torpedoes is 5,000 units. We don't really know the exact units. Could be tiles, but the actual lock range of the tactical console is 3,000 units. So what you can do with this is if you already have your enemy selected as a target, then your helm can align with that target, making it easier for you to manually aim and fire on that target. Or you can just manually aim it. But again, bear in mind that torpedoes don't really work on manual aim. So at ranges above 3,000, you're pretty much reliant on phasers. If you type in the ping of your target and then leave the tactical console, that target will stay locked. It's the same with the shield and weapons, as they also stay on when you leave the console, but they don't stay on if you turn it off. Now the last thing to bear in mind is how different ships are better than each other. For example, the Intrepid class is more maneuverable than the Excelsior class, but the Intrepid class has slightly less powerful shields than the Excelsior class. So again, I encourage you to play around with different ships on the game. That'll be it for this guide. Hope it's been helpful. And if not, you can go to the Academy Databank, scroll up, and go to the tactical thread. Goodbye.